Dude, it's good seeing you, man.
Oh, you too. What's
How's
happening?
your day? How's your day been? What'd you do today, man?
Today is it's kind of a rainy day, so no golfing. Usually it's my golf day on a Thursday.
Oh,
Um, what did I do today?
that's cool. You play golf, by the way. Like, I want to play golf. I have friends that play golf, and
Yeah,
like, where do you start? Like, when did you start playing golf, man?
my dad had me in like I would ride around in the cart when he'd do some tournaments for his work and stuff, and he was a casual golfer, and I would hit a couple things, but I was not good enough, and so I would take some lessons probably at maybe 10 years old. And by the time I was a teenager, I was more into it and just kind of caught the bug. Because it catches you. Like if you're kind of casual and you get it, but if you go out and play a couple of times and you're like starting to figure more shit out, and it's one of the most humbling and frustrating things. Um, how things can change so fast. There's a thing called, we call it the PBFU. It's the post birdie fuck up, because usually you get a birdie on a hole and you're feeling good, and then 8 times out of 10, the next hole you'll just duff one off the tee, or you'll triple bogey or something like that. It's golf is the most mind fuckingest, whatever the adjective is, thing that I've ever been involved with.
Do you ever have business deals or decisions, big decisions you have to make while you're playing golf?
There's guys that I play with that are like real estate agents, and
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
from a brightness down a little bit. So
I was watching The Sopranos. That's what made me think of that, where they
yeah,
they come up with these big decisions while playing golf.
yeah. There's guys that I play with that they're on call, so they're making calls and they're making deals. But for me, it's been mostly because me and the wife own the bar. Um, that if she's out of town or she's not available, that nothing much happens at the bar that's a huge emergency. But sometimes that would be anything that I'm doing at the bar. Otherwise, my days are, I'm kind of living my best life right now. It's like the bar kind of runs itself, and uh, so it's, I take the kids to school, then I've got I got my 6 7 hours to do what I want, and it's usually
Yeah.
on the golf course or learning and playing here in the studio and recording stuff or learning songs for somebody, fucking whatever.
Well, Phil, man, it's so cool that you're back on the show. I know the first time you were here, you were at my house, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I knew
That was great.
you had a flight. Yeah, you had a flight to catch. And I remember like my buddy Ryan, we talked about this today. I think he drove you to the airport, like
Yeah.
trying
I missed
to catch. Oh, you missed it.
I missed it. Yeah. I missed it.
Oh, what
Yeah.
happened? Did you catch the next
I
one?
was
When
just
was the
too
next
late.
one?
I was just late, and then I just had to wait, and I was it was funny. I missed the flight, and I ran from, because there was a big line trying to get out, and I got out and I ran in there, and they're like, no, you're not gonna make it. And it was just like an hour and a half or something. It wasn't a big deal, but I just saw that Chris Jericho was just like, yeah, I'm in it, something, he might be in Atlanta. He's doing like a secret wrestling thing, and
Yeah.
I saw that he had, I hit him up where he's at. He's, oh, I'm just landing in Atlanta. So he was coming out just as I was coming in. So I was able to hang with him for like 20 or minutes or so and chat him
Oh,
up.
that's cool, man.
Yeah, it was a cool little chance meeting of, Chris is a good dude, man. He's one of the most hardworking and productive, prolific entertainers that I've ever seen. The guy's always, he's everywhere and always just, on point, doing his thing. I love Chris Jericho, man. I admire that man.
That's awesome. I was interviewing Rich Ward a couple weeks ago when he was talking about Jericho, and he was just saying that as soon as they got done with the Jericho cruise, he was flying out to do another thing. Like there's just no downtime. I mean, he's a workaholic.
He's on the go, man. He's hustling. He's making it fucking happen, and he treats people well. And he's a good dude. And I admire so many of his traits from a businessman, and also just the way that he interacts with the people that he's just I'm just a peer of his. I mean, we did a song together. It was top 20 on the radio, which was
What
awesome. But
what was the song?
it was a cover we did of Aces High by Iron Maiden, but it took off, man. It was awesome. Nita Strauss, uh,
Oh,
her dude, Josh Villalta, I think. It's not Villalta. I know he might be Mexican, but Villalta, and who else played guitar? It was me and it was me and Nita, of course, fucking ripping. And who played bass? Oh, Johnny Christ from Avenged Sevenfold.
yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah, look it up, man. It's a fun video.
I'm gonna look it up, man. I'm gonna
It was
add the
a fun
link to it.
video, so everybody was like in their house and doing their thing. And Johnny was funny. I'll spoil a little bit of it, but he's just throughout the whole video, he's just walking through his house, huge fucking place, and he's just taking a shot, drinking a beer. I'm on the elliptical playing, and then he's fucking doing another shot. Goes out to the pool, throws the bass down, and jumps in the pool right at the end. It's pretty fucking good.
Oh man, that's so good. And you remind me of Jericho because you're both workaholics. I feel like you're always got something going, you know?
Oh man, yeah, I do, man. I do. And every time I think I'm gonna give myself a break or um I've got this, I don't know what kind of happened. Um I've got this incredible fear of missing out on stuff. So it's I with something is if there's a hole to fill, figuratively, then I want to be productive in that time, whether it's being at home with my friends and the cover bands that we do here, and or that I've got this band kicking off with Kerry, and that's going to be
Yeah.
um, the main gig. So that will be the biggest piece of the puzzle, and all the other pieces will have to fall in. So I've been just kind of biding my time for close to 5 years now for this thing to happen. And
So
now, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. You said 5 years? Has this thing been going on for 5 years, this planning?
About four and a half, I want to say. I want to think that, and I want to say, um, I think it was like August of 19 is when um, he told me that, look, I want you to be a part of this next thing that I'm doing. So it's been 4.5 years um, of
Yeah,
holding the
that
secret and
wow.
waiting for it to come to be.
Were you like the first one? Is Kerry King reaching out to you, Phil Demmel, and saying, like, I'm gonna start a project? I wanna do my own thing and I need you
Um,
where,
no, I don't think so. I think that his original thought was Gary Holt. That I mean, when I first I don't think I didn't pitch him that I didn't pitch him as me as available because I was still in Machine Head at the time. And I think this was in 18. They had come and played through San Jose. It was the last night of their tour. I think Testament was on Napalm, maybe. I forget. But I had asked Kerry, like, what he was doing next. Like, hey, what do you got going on next? And of the mind that, hey, Tom's going away, but he just wanted to kind of continue with Paul and Gary. And for whatever reason, I think that, Gary's got Exodus and that's his baby. And um, that's his baby. He writes the music and that's the thing he was going to do. So I don't know how much of Kerry has written all the music for this. And I don't know how much of a collab it would have been with Gary. Shit, I don't know. I can't even begin to understand why, but it didn't happen with Gary, obviously, for whatever reason. And I think that I was, the next for that spot. I'm kind of, the guy that Slayer would call if that spot would need to be filled. And so I think that was just in Kerry's mind that, he knew that I wanted to be it. And I probably told him that after. Yeah, it was. This is what happened. So this saved, spring of 18. I tell Kerry, hey, what are you doing? I just ask him, and then September rolls around. I announce that, hey, I'm quitting Machine Head, and I'll still do the tour in November or whatever. But hey,
Yeah.
I'm quitting. So that day, I get a text from Kerry saying, That's why you wanted to know what I was doing next, like, it's all, "Oh, you're available," type deal, so, uh, maybe that at that point, it kinda put in his head that whatever, I had and maybe that made shit, I'm putting all the pieces together now because later that year, a couple months later is when I got the call to go and play with Slayer. So
Yes. Oh,
there you
yeah,
go.
man, that was a lot of stress,
Well,
right? Yeah.
uh,
So for this project, you're saying that Kerry already had all these guitar riffs. I know some were left over from Slayer's Relentless, right? I mean, Idle Hands.
yeah,
Um,
I don't know if Idle Hands was a leftover.
oh, okay.
It was. I don't think it was. It might have been, but in just my dealings, I think that there's a song on the record. I don't know how much I should be sharing. I know
What
there's one song for sure. It's the title track. I think that was left over from Relentless, and I
from
think
Hell I Rise? Is that
yeah,
the
yeah.
yeah.
So I think that there might have been one other one, but I don't think Idle Hands was. It was
Do
the first
you
song I heard, and it was the first song that I wrote a solo for. So the solo that yeah, and that song was the first one that I wrote here in the studio, and so it's kind of cool to hear that being the first one released. And I had a I'm gonna be name dropping here a little bit, but I was going back and forth a little bit with Kirk Hammett today, and I told him that because he had told Mark Osegueda, hey, the solo's awesome, it's a solo of the year or whatever, and so I thanked him. I said, hey, I heard that you dug the solo on the song, and he's like, oh my god, I thought that was Kerry. I didn't know, he didn't put it together, and I missed his call, but he left me this awesome fucking voicemail, dude, saying like it's the best solo of the year so far, and all these just
Wow.
glowing things that Kirk Hammett is telling me, it's like, one of our heroes, and to hear him glow about, the solo it's one of my least favorite solos on the record, actually. So it's, but to hear him say that it was really personal, and it's, I want to bring that to this band. I want to bring that sense of, I don't know if it's melody or you know I hate the word controlled chaos, but some sort of lineage between the music and the solo sections that kind of make them, those solo sections in Slayer and in Carrie's music before are really frenetic. Even what Gary was doing was it matched all that brutality, and they were, I think that my solos are less brutal in nature, and um, had to check with him. This is a long sentence, just going here.
No, I love it.
uh,
That's amazing. Yeah.
so I had to tell Carrie, or ask him, or broach it with him that, this is what I'm doing. I tracked my leads here first, and played them, 50 times to where I'm just playing them single pass and playing them best as I can, and sent them away, and was like, hey, this is me, and this is what I am going to do here. If it's, of course, if it's okay with him, because it's his trip, and is that okay? And he said, yeah, I love it. He's all in true Kerry fashion. I don't hate it, so it must,
Is that right? Yeah, I don't hate it, so it's good.
I don't hate it, so you know. So
When
that was a compliment to me, getting that out of Kerry King.
dude, that is amazing compliment, and for Kirk, I was thinking about when Metallica did the Black Album, and they filmed it all, and they showed Kirk trying to nail that solo, and he had
Mhm.
Bob Rock over him,
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
they just kept going over and over again. Do you
yeah.
have someone when you come up with these solos, are you by yourself? I mean, do you have someone like do you have someone you can reach out to be like, "What do you think of this?" Or is this all Phil Demmel and you
No,
just
this
come up
is
with it and turn it in?
for this, and for like the BPMD stuff and the violent stuff and everything post Machine Head that I've recorded. It's been just kind of me, and I'll come up with something and then I'll send it out, and it's always been, fuck, that's awesome, that's fucking killer. Maybe was there anything on the BPMD record? No, I think that everybody's been. It's just me here, kind of just dissecting them and building them, and all. I'm pretty entry level with the Pro Tools, but I know how to layer some stuff and make some playlists and piece some stuff together so I can have a structure. But one thing that's different than when I was soloing a Machine Head, because me and Rob we would be there with each other, and like, yeah, I would be there when he's tracking his leads and offer him some, hey, try that wah thing you do, or and he would throw ideas at me, and hey, why don't you do, Rob was really good at like making my solos, or suggesting, because at the end of the day it's my decision, but suggesting things. Hey, you do that a lot. You start with, he was always like, you always start your solos over that double bend. It's just like, let's try to stay away from that. So he always had some really good advice on try this,
Yeah.
and you've got this in your arsenal. So let's remember when you got this, and I would do that with him as well. Or so, but
When
since then, I haven't had that, and
I like
it's
that though, right? That's nice. So you don't have somebody over you, right?
yeah,
You
no, no,
you like
no,
to
and
do
I
that.
didn't feel like Rob was over me going,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. It was more of a like a creating thing. So I don't think that he was overbearing on me with my solos in any sense, but it was just different in the fact that a lot of them, um, I guess maybe I didn't put as much time into preparing, or I didn't have the convenience of my fucking studio here, and to be able to, nope, click, nope, do it again, and the technology is more now to where the Machine Head solos I would be piecing together and cutting out. Oh, let's catch those two notes, or let's try to get this bend better. And now I'm, one passing through my leads and maybe catching a note, or for the most part, it's all transitionary feel and organic in that sense. And that's what I want. So yeah, there you go.
So the the band is wild because I probably told you this before, but Kyle Sanders lives right down the road from me. So and
Yeah, I remember the last time. Let me get turn my mail off.
oh
Um,
no, you're fine.
I remember the last time I was there, I spoke to him, and I was like, "Hey, man,
Yeah.
I was in your neck of the woods." He's all, "Yeah, he's got the School of Rock and the thing going." And
And Blackstrap. Yeah, I'm representing Blackstrap. Yeah, he's got his rock club.
yeah, oh, now the club, yeah, but he didn't
Yeah.
have it back then, right? That's
He
awesome.
didn't have it then, now it's new, but he's an entrepreneur like you, man. So
He
he,
is. He's got
you
a
guys
new,
get stuff
got a
done.
new kid like me too. I think.
Oh yeah, he does.
I think his name's Wolf too.
Yeah.
We have a Wolf. A 7-year-old is Wolf here. It's kind of crazy.
Really?
Yeah,
That is
but
crazy, man.
we had a quarantine baby. We have Magnus is 2.5 now.
So how many total do you have now?
Oh man, this is a whole this is a whole different episode. It's good,
Alright, well, you don't have
I,
to answer if you don't want to,
oh
man.
no, no, I'll give you the brief. I have 4 kids. I have a 2-year-old Magnus. I have a 7-year-old Wolf. I have a 17-year-old Jaden, and then I have a 36. I think she's born in '87. Do the math. So she'll be 37 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, a daughter, and she has four kids. So I have 4 grandkids, and I think they're from maybe 13ish down to maybe 3. So
That's a
my
lot
two
of birthdays, man.
my 2-year-old is an uncle to four kids.
What do they call you? Are you papa or grandpa or like what's the name?
No, because I don't see them that often. Um,
Okay.
I, like I said, a whole other episode, but I didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't know about my daughter until 2013. So it was,
Yeah.
there was some adjusting to get to, because she's 3 years younger than my wife. And, so we didn't, I'm kind of like the, I'm like a cousin or an uncle or something. There's no paternal vibe between me and Elise, who's an amazing human, and she's part of our family. We just kind of like it took. There was just this, you can imagine how awkward it was for everybody at the time, and we got it together. And they live in Hawaii for a bit, and now I think they're out in the Midwest, so we don't see them that often. But I think they call me Phil Bill or something like that, and they I'm not like a grandpop, or I'm just I think I'm Phil Bill.
Yeah. Well, I have some young kids. I have a, almost 11-year-old and a 12-year-old,
Uh-huh.
and so your son Wolf, how old is Wolf now?
Wolf is 7.
7. Yeah, that's such a cool age, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have different adjectives. Um,
Okay, yeah, challenging, yeah.
yeah. Wolf,
Does he have an iPad or any like an iPad or any kind of electronics?
he does. He's got an iPad and he's super into Minecraft. So he's into building and like, if we'll go to, there's a place out here called the Great Wolf Lodge. And they're a chain, but it's like an indoor water park. And they're so he'll build it like, oh yeah, this is the one, and he'll build like all the slides and everything from the outside. And it's
Oh, that's so cool.
he's a character. Yeah, the older that he becomes, the more he's open to being taught things.
I know we're all over the place, man, but it's so good catching back up to you. One more question though, with the bar. You mentioned the bar again, Eddie's.
Evie's.
It's still called Eddie's, right?
It was Evie's with a V.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That was wow. So you got me right after. When was I there last? It must have
You were
been
the before the pandemic, I think it was
yeah,
probably 2019,
19.
maybe, or 18.
So we had changed the name. Evie's was the name of the previous owner, and it was her place. And then so we kept it that for a year, and then we changed it to the Back Lounge for the past 5 years or so. So Marta named it. It's if you've been on a tour bus, so you know what happens in the back lounge, and it's where we don't talk about what happens in the front. So it's just kind of like the back lounge. That's the safe place to go.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great that it's still going around though. I mean, that's amazing. And
Yeah,
Marta
yeah,
too. That yeah.
yeah,
So she works there, right? She
yeah.
helps run it.
We're down there once a day for a little bit. Sometimes not at all, because it's under 100 cap, so it's a small sports kind of rock bar. It's mostly just a dive bar, a clean dive bar, and so the bartenders kind of manage it themselves. We order, we just go, and we've got the cameras. We're making sure that everything's legit, and it's doing its thing, man. We've been really fortunate to have a thriving business and all the craziness that's been happening. The quarantine was weird, and we're able to muscle through that and get through what we needed to, and um, through some uh, pretty creative financing. It's almost better that we went through it. We came out on the other end of it almost in better shape. So it sucks for so many people that weren't able to survive the
Yeah.
shutdown and all of that. So we feel real fortunate. We feel pretty obligated to take care of our community here, and it's pretty cool to see the town we live in, Dublin, California. Is it's we circle the wagons. Something happens with one of our own, where there's always my cover band called the Merkins gets together, and
Merkins.
we
Yeah.
we do we do some fundraising and stuff, and it's a good place to live, man. I'm really proud of our town here.
I was thinking like the Merkins. Am I saying that right? The Merkins.
The Merkins, yeah.
They should open for Kerry King, your band, yeah.
No way, man.
Kerry King featuring the Merkins, are opening.
No, not at all. Merkins, I mean, we cover like fucking Bon Jovi and Journey, and
Do
you
you
know,
sing? Are you singing the songs?
some songs. There's a couple songs that I'll sing and play. I leave it to because the band's made up of all my high school buddies, but then I'll wrangle in, Chuck Billy and Eric from Testament came out the last one. We had Brad Gillis come
Wow.
out, and Dean from Journey came out to the last one, and the Rancid guys will get up with us.
Oh, cool.
Wayne from Hatebreed gets up with us, and Gretchen from Zepparella. I don't know if you know who she is. Gretchen Matt, just an amazing guitar players from the area. So it's all just this huge silly jam. Everybody singing, someday love will find, and it's just live karaoke, man, and it's all our friends, no egos, no head trips. With there's 4 guitar rigs on stage. Uh, the last show we had over 60 people play over 50 something songs. It's the most fun I've ever had.
That sounds like the most fun. Have you ever thought about, I mean, do you guys, like, film this and make a thing out of it, you know,
We
release
did
it?
film the last one. Yeah, we did film the last one, but it's all about being there. It's all about the filming. It doesn't really capture, just the insanity of, because these. I mean, for the most part, these aren't professional musicians. These are
Your
my
buddies, yeah.
my kid. It's my kid. My 17-year-old gets up and jams Metallica with us, and he's
Cool.
good. And we carry the tune and it sounds, but we're for the most part not professional musicians, and it's just picking silly songs or not so silly songs sometimes. We play some Thin Lizzy that's kind of weird. We play Tooth and Nail by Dokken, and I got some talented friends, man.
Yeah, man, and, I'm kinda all over the place, but kinda wanna go back to this Kerry King project. When you guys all got together, did you guys all get together? Was this files being sent? I mean, did you guys get in a room and, everybody like Mark, everybody just get in one room and jam?
No, nuh I mean, Carrie and Paul get together and they wrote the material,
Slayer, yeah,
right?
Paul.
And Carrie has a spot where and he's got an engineer who record the jams and kind of put stuff together, and then they'll demo it. Carrie sings on the demos, and before there was a vocalist, so I'm hearing Carrie sing on these demos, and it's really cool to me. I didn't even know he sang, so
Yeah, how was that?
hearing him on the demos is so fucking cool, man. It's like he's got this, kind of not really a punk rock voice, but kind of that, Um, and there might have been a minute when he was considering maybe singing it because the vocal search was at a point where you know
Oh, yeah. He's
wasn't
gonna do
was
Phil Collins, man, like, Phil Collins took over and just started singing, you know?
but it's they demo the stuff, sent it out. I know that Kyle got files, and I think he just wrote his own bass parts and sent them back, and which Kerry was stoked about. And he said, because that hadn't happened before. And then he sent me files and said, here's your sections for soloing and stuff. And granted, it's been a super slow roll. It's been from him even because everything shut down after Slayer played their last show. So they were shut down for a bit. Him and Paul didn't even get together for a long time. So then the material is getting written. He's sending me, it's been a real spoon fed operation for me. So getting the files, I'm sending them back stuff that I'm digging. So it's a slow roll. Mark gets in. They're recording the record. I think like maybe February, March of last year, maybe April. And I go down to track my leads, and everybody's there because we're doing a photo shoot because we haven't been together yet.
Oh, cool.
Kyle comes in. I think it's the first time that he might have seen everybody. So it's the first time we were in a room together was the day that I tracked my leads. So we took some photos that day, and then hadn't seen each other again, for I don't know, that was April, So then
It's all a big secret, nobody knows this, right?
yeah,
'Cause,
yeah. I mean, we got back together and did some photos for the album in maybe January. And there you go. So we have yet to practice. Me and Paul and Mark, we're going to jam this weekend, but Paul lives up north and he gets some bad weather. So I think that there's a big weather front coming in. So he had to stay home. So there will be a point probably when me, Paul, and Mark, because we're West Coast, we'll get together. Because I wanted to flesh out and I want to play with Paul with these songs, and because I just learned them. I didn't, I played the solos. I know my solos, but I didn't learn the songs because in the interim of all this happening, I'm playing with Lamb of God. I'm playing with, Overkill. I'm playing with Testament. I'm playing, with Vio-lence. I'm, playing with Metal Allegiance. And so there's a lot of other stuff that I've been doing.
That's amazing, like, how does your brain just, like, switch from all these different projects, and you just memorize everything? I mean, you're going full throttle. I mean, do you ever have just a brain fart where you're like, "I just don't remember this one?"
Um, not while I'm in it. Not while I'm in it. Like my son's a big metalhead, and he was listening to um, one of the newer Lamb of God songs that I learned, and I couldn't remember it. I couldn't. I know kind of where it's at, but I don't got it. I've like the hard drive has to like flush stuff out to bring more stuff in, and it just kind of goes away. But there was a point in, I think it was 21, when everything was opening back up, that I was in Lamb of God's bullpen just in case somebody got sick, because that's when everything was at the height of everybody's testing every day and everybody's wearing masks and everybody's bubbled up. And the first leg of that Megadeth tour, where they're all just be ready, if something happens. Um, I was gonna play Bloodstock that year with Vio-lence, and so me and Devin Townsend had met and we talked, and he was using local people, so he didn't have to, have people travel. And I was going to be at Bloodstock. He's like, why don't you play guitar for me at his headlining Bloodstock set? So I learned his set. I had his set. Here's, Lamb of God set, ready to go.
Yeah.
Both sides, because I had to learn Willie and Mark's side. So I'm learning
Oh, yeah.
both sides of Lamb of God stuff. So I'm doing the Devin set, and it's a different, his open tunings, and it's pretty ambient, so it's not as frenetic as the Lamb of God stuff. So it's more space to everything and totally separate, So then Overkill calls me. And so there's this Overkill one-off show that they want me to do. So I'm learning Overkill stuff. So I've got an Overkill set to do. Testament calls me. There's a one-off Testament corporate gig that Alex can't make. It's like this NFL thing. It's for the Raiders. So a big Raider fan. So it's just kind of a possibility that it might happen. They're up for it. Can you learn our songs and be ready? Yes, I'll fucking learn your set and I'll be ready for that. Metal Allegiance has a one-off in Long Island. So there's another 20 songs of Metal Allegiance that I have on another set that's happening over here. Something else. There was something else. Oh, the Merkins are playing. So I've got, a 40-song Merkin set that I'm learning for a Merkin show.
Oh, it gives me anxiety thinking about this.
I think there's another one. I know there's another one. I don't remember what it is. So I have these in my studio here. I have these legal pads with all the songs on them, and I'm at one point there's 176 songs that I was learning, for what, let me see what else there was. I knew there was something else. Testament, Merkins, Solo Few, DT Bloodstock, Merkins, Testament. Was Hail? Oh, it was Hail.
Oh, yeah.
It was Hail that I did with Lomenzo and Zet and Chris Adler. So there's 22 cover songs that I've lived. So 176 songs that I would play through, that I had, but ask me to get through one Devin song right now and it would be a struggle.
Okay, yeah. So you have to go back.
I don't retain, but it would come to me.
Like, who can retain all that anyway? In general, like that much.
I had it at that point.
Yeah, at that point.
But it's because we were, everything had been locked down, so I'm just playing guitar and doing these collab jams and writing violent stuff. So there
Kerry
you go.
King,
Frosty just talked about it.
That's that's amazing. You're like the David Goggins. Like David Goggins. I'm saying his last name. He runs a lot and does all this crazy stuff. You're like David Goggins for like metal. You're like the marathon of music.
Right. And then there was a couple other gigs that I don't want to just like, if it didn't happen, I don't want to go, this band called me, because I don't, you don't know the inner workings anymore. But there was other couple pretty big bands that were, hey, be ready because this could happen type deal.
When you say like, hey, be ready for this kind of band, when Kerry King, are you guys gonna go on tour? I mean, do you have to set a keep your schedule open for that? Are you guys doing some shows live or anything scheduled?
So with Kerry, it's my priority. So he has the right of first refusal with me. It's just like,
okay.
This is what we're doing. And so in May, we're doing a couple of the Wimmer festivals. We're doing Welcome to Rockville, and we're doing Sonic Temple in May. And then we go June, we're going to Europe and doing the Rock am Rings and doing all the big festivals overseas. And then a couple weeks after we get back in the end of July, we're going out with Lamb of God, Mastodon, and Malevolence in the States, and doing the States.
Oh, okay, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys play live. That's really awesome, man.
Yeah, man, it's exciting. I'm looking forward to jamming with all these guys at some point.
Yes. I'm so glad, like, it seems like life's getting back to normal now, without the pandemic, without wearing a mask and everything. I mean, did you like, when all that was going on and you can't tour, that really did you hate that, or were you just glad that you can relax? 'Cause now it seems
No,
like everything's full throttle.
no, I didn't. I didn't like it. I didn't like the lockdown, and I mean, it was about this time. Well, it was close to this time when it all happened because
Yeah, March, yeah, yeah.
it was right before our biggest weekend at the bar. I live in Dublin, California, so St. Patty's Day is a big deal in this town, and it was our biggest weekend of the year. And we're getting wind of, oh, shelter in place gets uttered for the first time, and for me hearing it, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? They're shutting us down, and I don't want to get into the ins and outs of the politics and all of that. I, as a business owner, had a problem with when they were reopening everything. That I get, oh, everybody has to be outside. I get the idea of that, but everybody was just under a tent outside. They were still inside, and they in California they made us charge people a meal to buy a drink. So they just couldn't come and buy a drink. They had to buy a legitimate meal, not chips, not pretzels, but they had to buy a cheeseburger and fries or a blah, blah. So we had to bring a caterer in. So it's like pay and cover. Hey, pay
Mm.
your $10 and buy a meal and then you can drink. So that's, as a business owner, that was our struggle, and
Yeah,
we
such
got
crazy
through
rules.
it. It was weird.
So, you guys have the album finished, right? It's complete. When does the album come out for Kerry King?
Comes out May 17th, 15th. Yeah, one of those, whatever the Friday is.
Is it weird that, is it weird that, like, Slayer is gonna play these shows and announced it pretty soon after you guys announced your gig with Kerry?
Um, yeah, yeah. It's the 17th, May 17th.
May 17th, yeah.
Yeah, it caught me off guard. I didn't know anything about it. Um, so it was to hmm, to have a Slayer gig announced before we've even played a show was really weird to me. Um, and Slayer's none of my business. The whys and the wins, it's none of my business. I had questions when I first heard, and they were answered. And I'm 100% at peace and good with everything that's happening.
Now, it's so funny, like, when bands say they're done, Eddie Trunk was talking about it, are they really done? Motley Crue had a contract or something, like, they were gonna sue
Yeah,
themselves, but then they blew the contract up.
yeah. I mean, it's hard because I know that they're in a spot to where it's just like, and I don't know the personality part of it with any band for that matter. For them that has to be in a pretty low to go, we're done, to say that in the first place. But it just, it just felt like it was. It just
Mhm.
felt like it was done with Motley Crue and Kiss, and Ozzy. No more tours I saw in 1991. So it's like,
Yeah.
that even still, I know he's saying he's not come out, come and Kiss still. I'm not fool me once
Oh, so
type deal. So
Do you think Kiss will eventually come back, or are you sold that they're done? That they played their final
Kiss,
show? Yeah.
no, I think they'll play again.
Yeah, 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 okay. So they'll probably there's loopholes, right? Residencies and or, whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, I think the most shocking one for me is Pantera. I mean, what do you think about Pantera coming back? I think it's pretty cool, like, the
Uh,
crowds, they're you know?
I think it's cool. I think it's cool, and the way I haven't seen it yet. I don't, they haven't played where I've been, so I haven't seen it yet. I think I hear a lot of bagging on Zach, and it's like nobody wants to see what anybody else play that. They would bag on anybody that was up there doing it. I think that Zach is he's our he's the torchbearer for this generation, for my generation. I feel that he's the guitar god, and he's the dude that's you know will speak up, and he's the one that I look up to in a sense of you know I talk to Zach a lot and for stuff in my career, and he's always been he's a whole 2 months older than I am, but he's I feel like he's like my big bro, and to see I don't want to see anybody else doing that. I know there's guys that could nail that shit. He's being Zach, and that's what I want to see him do. Charlie's fucking awesome. It's good I think the people need to hear the songs and pay tribute in that sense. And I hope they're doing, paying tribute. It's for the brothers, so I hope it's, they're doing a lot of the, you know, tribute to them and having them be present. So I think that, there are guys that can play the stuff. Ola England is fucking he nails the dime stuff. Wes Houck, fucking amazing. Reese Scruggs, who's from Havoc and jamming in Machine Head, those guys could play it, and they might play it closer than what Zach does. But I don't want to see them up there with Rex and Phil and doing that. I want to. They didn't. Did they know him and were part of that family? Like, Dime was wearing the Black Label shit all over the
Yeah,
place. I don't
yeah,
know how good of friends they were. It's not up to me to know that. As long as they're just paying tribute.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and Charlie, is just killing on the drums as well. I mean, he studied Vinny. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Charlie's awesome. He can play anything.
So do you have I love hearing Dimebag and Vinny stories. Do you have a good, like, story where you're just, you know, hanging out with them or on the road with them?
Uh, I met, I met Daryl back in 88, 89. I want to say in 89 at the Foundations Forum. It was like a convention in LA for rock and metal and music thing, and as bands played, and it was just like this huge party. And met Daryl, and is right when Cowboys came out, and I wasn't a big Cowboys fan, but I was a Daryl fan because Vio-lence had played through Dallas in '88, and I saw like the Shrine at this one theater that they played or that they had in Dallas. I forget the name of it, but we had played there with Testament, Nuclear Assault, and Overkill. And I was big, I was San Francisco elitist thrash kid, and so I see pictures of them. I love my hair metal, and I love music. I see them, who's this Pantera band? I heard, and then I see, them, and they were done up with the hair and the spandex and the whole deal, and and I wore spandex back in the day too. I got nothing against that. Exodus did, Metallica did, everybody wore spandex, But I remember them being kind of the Van Halen, not really glammy, but that type of band. And then when Cowboys came out, everybody was, and rightfully so, but kind of like, fuck, this is awesome, and they're heavy and blah blah blah. And I'm in my Bay Area thrash elite mind, all of 20 years old or whatever. It was like, no, I remember you guys from Dallas. I remember I was like, you don't just get to decide to be thrash and like have this. I was pretty. It took me a minute with that. I like certain songs on there, and Daryl was awesome, and of course the musicianship was off the charts, but it was when Vulgar came out when I was like, oh fuck, you know, this is fucking. And Vulgar is one of my top 5 records of all time. It's
Is it?
just fuck yeah. I'd listen to that back to front. That's when I was in. That's when I was all in with with that band, So we're playing Download. I just joined Machine Head. It was my first time overseas doing the festivals as a member, and Damage Plan rolls up, and they had been driving all night. Slayer was supposed to be playing the main stage, and Damage Plan was playing the second stage, and we were on the main stage, like a couple down from Slayer, right before Slayer. And so Slayer can't make it; they're stuck at the border, and so Damage rolls up, and they're all, hey, Damage, you're going to be on the main, fucking, they're all hammered, just like been up all night drinking, and Dime was like warming up on Rob's guitar. He gave me a guitar to just kind of warm up, and he called me Fanuki, like, for fucking new guy, because he's all, Phil, man, you brought the shred to Machine Head, man. I love your playing, bro. It was awesome, So he gave me high marks for the Ashes record that had just come out. And,
That's so cool.
it was like later, just months later, that he was taken from us. But so I had that really glowing, dying moment. We did a tour with Hell Yeah in January of 2008, and it was right after my father died. So we were playing, 5 songs a night, and I was done. And Hell Yeah brought in, they had a bunch of girls at their shows, that was like single guy, and like, so we would play. I would get a couple, double Captain and Coke, and just be, on the lookout and doing the single guy thing. So that tour was a lot of numbing down, a lot of grieving for me, and just not feeling what I did. And Vin was really good in talking to me about kind of the process. And he kind of went through, things are entirely different, but we were in Atlantic City the night before the Super Bowl, and it was the one where the Patriots were undefeated, and they're going to play the Giants, and everybody thinks, they're going to wipe out the floor with the Giants. And me and Vinny and Greg from Hell Yeah were walking through, we're playing, and my dad's lucky number was 33, and 33.
Oh,
And
look at that.
so we were walking by a roulette table, and hey, Van, I'm going to put 20 on 33 for my pops. And fucking, he's like, do it, bro. And I put it down, and it fucking hits. And it's like, fucking, oh shit. It was a magical moment that me and Vin had. And it was cool to, he was good to me on that tour, and he kind of understood a little bit what I was going through. So, God bless you, Dime and Vin. And thank you for all that you've done for us, man. And there you go.
Yeah.
Down and Vin stories.
Thank you for sharing that. Well, I can't wait for this Kerry King album to drop. I'm looking forward to it. You got some like music videos? Are you guys gonna, release some merch and
Yeah, I don't know,
vinyl?
Scott. I don't know. I'm in the need to know department, and I think that there's talk about filming a couple videos coming up, or not. I don't. I think that the release is in May. We've got those 2 shows right before the release. We've got the European festivals. We've got the Lamb of God Mastodon, a Malevolence opening, States tour. So it's all exciting. I have another record that I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about that yet. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that yet. I probably shouldn't talk about that. Sorry, Larry. Sorry, Larry.
Well, can you talk about this Vio-lence? You just went to South America, right?
I did.
Am I right? Yeah. How'd that go? Like, how many
I
shows you guys play?
Oh man, we did 10 shows. South American travel. I mean, we didn't have a day off, so we're flying every day. So we're up at 4 or 5 in the morning to fly early to get to a spot and sleep another couple hours before we do the show. So we were sleeping in 3 or 4 hour pockets throughout the day. And the shows were amazing. The fans were awesome. So it was my swan songs with the band. I played my last show with Vio-lence. I'm not going to say it's not my farewell show. Right. My farewell show, but for the time, I don't even know what to say. It's just like, yeah, I am not there are zero plans for me to play with that band live anymore.
Wow. Yeah, man, that's decades of you playing with them off and on, right?
Yep. Yeah, almost 40 years. Almost 40 years. We did a lot of cool things. Um, the last EP I was super proud of. Played some cool places, and it's just time to. The past year we were kind of fuck buddies, you know. We just kind of like I'd call if they had something cool lined up, and it was like Lamb of God boat or something convenient for me. And it was selfish of me to kind of cherry pick that type of stuff, and I just didn't want to be in that. It just needed to cut it off. Just
Mm.
needed to cut it off. We're not banging each other anymore.
And, the friends with benefits anymore.
No, we're not. Sorry.
Well, man, Phil, I appreciate you being on the show again. This is a great update, and I was so happy to find out about this Kerry King project. And
Yeah,
and even though I'm friends with Kyle, I had no idea, and it just kinda I found out when everyone else found out.
yeah. Lots of surprises.
Yes. But, man, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys live. Hopefully, more shows will happen in Atlanta, Georgia, so I can, go.
Yeah,
But
yeah. We'll see. We'll catch you down the road somewhere.
yeah, man, is there anything else going on?
Um, yeah, there is, but I can't talk about it.
I know,
We've
right? Well, that means I gotta interview you again, dude.
So soon, so soon. Yes, we'll talk about that when it happens. There's there's rumblings around about this something else that's happening. So that's exciting. Probably here in a couple months it'll pop off and we'll be good. Maybe
Last
maybe
Yeah. No, I mean, last thing I wanna say is I was watching, Vio-lence, and you guys did a cover of, the Dead Kennedy song, "California."
Hmm?
Yeah, Alice. Man, that's such a great song. I grew up listening to that song. How'd
Right
you
on.
guys pick that
Awesome.
song to cover?
Um I think it was a song that we played live. I think that Dean original. No, I think maybe Sean. Shit, I don't know, Scott. Uh, we had played it live at one of the reunion shows when we first got back together, and we were in. I think we're still pretty much in quarantine at that point, and yeah, we were just kind of because the bar was closed. We shot the video at the bar, and the bar was
Oh,
closed,
cool. Yeah.
and and uh, so we did our own take on it. Everybody says it's like anti-vax video, but it's not. It's just at the man itself. It's if you know the lyrics to the song, then you understand what it's about. And yeah, it was just a cover tune that we liked. I didn't want to, at that point, I wasn't committed to writing new music, and I didn't want to struggle through coming up with a song to release first. So we just put out this silly cover and to have it, hey, we're back as a band and this is what we're doing, type deal. So
Yeah. Well, it's excellent, man. I loved it. It was a happy surprise. I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." I encourage everybody to look it up. It's so cool.
right on.
All right, man. Phil, I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you for updating us on the Kerry King thing that you're doing,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
right
I mean,
on.
you got to wake up feeling happy about that. I mean, that's the band you grew up listening to in the Bay Area. That's awesome, man.
It is. It is. It is. It's exciting to have it finally, be out in the open, and we're all just so ready to get out and start playing and jamming together and becoming what this is going to be. So I think it's going to be really good. I love the record. I love what I did on the record. I love what Mark did on the record. I love what Kerry. These are some of my favorite Kerry King solos on this. Like hearing some of his leads, it's like, you know, I think how do I put this? I think that Kerry will admit that he's not the most, known for his solo stylings. I think that he has a style, and I think that these are like some of his well put together and performed leads that I've heard him do. And I asked him, I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "I had time to work on my solos." He said, usually in the studio working on lyrics and doing blah blah blah, but we've had so much time to put stuff together that he's had time to work because he puts the least amount of effort into his solo. So it's like, man, it shows. It's the dude's a monster guitar player. His rhythms are right hand's really fucking good, and so it's you listen to that's why it's not the only reason why, but you listen to the rhythms on the record, and and probably the last bunch of Slayer records, they're fucking tight as fuck. He's really good. Nope. Really good, Scott. We look forward to you, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Phil Demmel, man. I appreciate it a lot, brother.
No worries. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon, man.